Hi everyone, Dr. J here, and in this video we're going to just start talking about what is a drone, introducing different types of drones, and talking about how drones are used for different applications. So what is a drone? In this class we're going to talk about UAS, which are unmanned aerial systems. We're also going to talk about UAVs, which are unmanned aerial vehicles, and of course, well, everybody knows what a drone is, I suppose, although I do have an acronym for you here as well. So a UAS, unmanned aerial system, might be composed of a UAV or a drone, in addition to other components in that system. So everything together, such as the controller, the operator, these might all be called together an unmanned aerial system. So drone by itself, again, most of you are familiar with this, but an official definition is a flying vehicle that is piloted by a person who is not sitting in or on the vehicle. Now, there are some important exclusions to what a drone is not. So, for example, hot air balloons, which are unpowered, are not considered UAVs. Missiles or rockets, which are sort of governed by their own set of regulations, including model rockets, by the way, those are also not considered UAVs. Again, UAS, unmanned aerial systems or unmanned aircraft systems, you'll see both of those used, has several components. Obviously, there's the aircraft or the UAV or the drone itself, and there are many different types of drones. We'll talk about those in a minute. There's also an operator. So you or someone else flying the drone that's making decisions about what to do, where to fly, where to go. There may also actually be other people involved in a mission, and we'll talk a lot more about that as we go through the course. In particular, there are people called visual observers, and these are folks who are watching the drone just to make sure that nothing unsafe or dangerous is happening, perhaps to make sure that there are no people underneath the drone, things like that. So there may be more than one person on a drone system. There's also a control station, which is controlling the drone, perhaps communicating to GPS satellites, for example. And then there's a data link between the control station itself and the aircraft. And so these are all part of the unmanned aircraft system. It may include payloads, launch recovery. A lot of drones will use parachutes to make sure that they can't fall on top of someone. So this UAV, the drone itself, is only one component of a UAS. There are many different types of UAVs, and some of them are called micro drones. They're very small, as you can see here. Other drones, such as the T-40 Agras, this is a DJI drone used for agricultural spraying or spreading material. These are very large drones, as you can see, fits in the back of a pickup truck. And there are even larger drones. The military has drones that are very large. Scientists and researchers use large drones for various purposes. And there are many unique types of drones. You can see some interesting types here. I've seen other drones that are sort of like a spinning handle, and they're used for, actually they fly in swarms and are used for monitoring forest fires. So many unique and creative ways to build drones, things that drones do. Some drones are fixed wing. You can see here a fixed wing drone. This is the Census Centero BVLOS. BVLOS means it can fly past your visual line of sight, as opposed to most drones, which are required to stay within your visual line of sight. You've got heavy lift drones, spraying drones, many different types of drones, and they do many different types of jobs. And actually, many people, or many companies, I should say, design drones specifically for a particular type of job. So there are some drones which can do many different types of things, and we'll be using some of those in this class. But many drones are designed specifically for one or just a few purposes in mind, and we'll talk about those as well. So if there's many different purposes, you know that there are many different payloads, many different things that drones can carry. There are obviously cameras and video cameras that drones carry, and many of us are familiar with those. There's also different types of sensors, such as thermal sensors, LiDAR sensors, multispectral sensors. We'll be using some of these in this class. There are actually application drones that spray liquids or solids for various purposes, such as crop spraying. Package delivery is one new way that drones are being used. Amazon is using package delivery to deliver medical supplies, for example, to people who are in need. Now, why would you want to learn how to fly a drone? We've already talked about this a little bit, but I suppose the question that we maybe really should answer is, what kinds of things can a drone do? So let's talk about some different uses for drones. Drones are used a lot for photography and videography. Actually, using drones to take videos and pictures is a big business for real estate. Lots of people doing drone photography for real estate, weddings and special events. People do that stuff like that. And then just, taking cool pictures and selling them, that's also something that people do. Drones are used a ton in public safety applications. As you can imagine, fire and police often use drones to respond to difficult situations, to get an idea of what's going on. After a disaster, you might have normal infrastructure like Wi-Fi out, and so people will use drones to supply Wi-Fi to places that have lost Wi-Fi, or monitor large crowds, or look for missing persons. Here's an example down on the right where you can see a thermal drone can be used to pick up the location of people. UAVs are used for mapping and for surveying, and this is one of the main applications that we're going to learn about in this class. UAVs are sort of an intermediate stage between surveying on the ground and satellite remote sensing, so they are used a lot in kind of intermediate scale projects. You have a pile of gravel and you want to know how large is your pile of gravel. You have a road system that you want to map out and identify cracks in the pavement or places where roads and bridges need to be replaced. You might have an archaeological site and you want to survey the site. You might have a city and you want to have a three-dimensional model of the city. Drones and mapping and surveying drones can be used for all these applications. Drones, as I've mentioned, have a big application in agricultural purposes. So not just for spraying materials, although that is a big one, but also for monitoring crops and looking at how healthy crops are. And looking at different types of applications and materials on crops and seeing which ones are the most effective. UAVs are very useful at that type of thing. And similarly, they can be used for environmental monitoring. Maybe you want to go into an area but not walk on the ground, and so UAVs are perfect for that. They have a very low impact on the surface of the ground because they're not touching the ground. And then, of course, as I've already mentioned, spraying and pollination, material application is also a big application for drones. So these are just some of the applications for drones, and people are coming up with new applications all the time. There's a company in Africa that actually uses drones to fly medicines between hospitals. Drones are used for surveying and LiDAR exploration of coastal regions, all kinds of things. And I hope that you're super excited for all the different things that drones have the ability to do and to help people do, from saving people's lives by finding them, search and rescue, all the way to industrial applications and commercial applications in agriculture and surveying. So drones can do a lot. They can't do everything, but they are an extremely useful tool for many different types of projects, many different types of applications, and we're going to learn about some of those in this class.